Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
All right.
Doctor.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Doctor.
We're going to begin in 3 minutes while waiting for others to join. Okay, since some of you are here, I want to know that is it okay for us to use WebEx, or you guys like to have other platforms like Google Meet? Because
WebEx is okay for me, Doctor.
because some of your friends message me personally because of the constraint on his internet speed. So he requests for Google Meet. Let's try on the Google Meet next week, yeah? Okay. Okay, just a gentle reminder. Take your attendance here, please. Take your attendance at the, what do you call this? Acropolis. Oh, guys, we're going to begin now. All right. If you have any questions, can stop me. Okay, so today we're going to take a look on two topics. One is the HTML, the other one is the CSS. Okay, so since we are engaged in the web application development, so I assume that we are a great developers. Okay, we are the great developers, but in terms of back end, okay, in terms of back end, so the keyword here is back end. So I did mention that this course not to guide you to be a great designer, okay, but you need to know how to do programming from the back-end perspective. So if you learn any web application design, HTML perhaps is the first scripting language that you need to know. So I'm not going to teach you great details about HTML, okay? But at least it's a key start for you guys to know what is the HTML all about, okay? Before we go into the procedural language, more strict language, in this case is the PHP, because later we're going to see how PHP JavaScripts that we're going to embed it into the HTML, okay? So we come back to this diagram again, okay? You're going to see this diagram very, very often, as I mentioned, almost every lectures, okay? Because our web applications developments is pretty much falls into three category of software in this case. For the first one, there's a software that you use as a browser, whether you're using Chrome, whether you're using Firefox, Mozilla, and so on. And you do have the second piece of software that you're going to kick off after next week, okay, on the web server side. In this case, we're going to use Apache, okay, Apache server, okay. And the third one, we're going to use the MySQL server, okay, for the database. So in this diagram, we show that we have three pieces of software and two network connections here, okay. So today HTML, we're going to take a look on the client side, okay, on the client side, which is referred to this site. Perhaps you are somewhere here. You try to use a mouse to control the screen, okay, that actually you are trying to interact with some browser around the world through your browser, right? So perhaps you could do some requests, okay, to your browsers and come into your web server. You try to do some requests, and this request might retrieve some file, okay, and sometimes when you interact with dynamic web page, okay, the files, it can be forced into HTML, okay, and when in the middle of the HTML, it might request additional PHP logic. In the PHP logic, it might require some file from the database server. And after it do some execution, it might return back to your browsers, okay, and in terms of HTML format, okay, in terms of HTML format. So your browser going to parse it, okay, going to parse it, and perhaps before it parse it, there is a component called CSS here. Okay, this CSS, it depends on how you prepare it in the HTML that return from the web server. So if this HTML is written on the inline structure, okay, it's going to do a formattings in the HTML and then move it to the DOM and it show on the screen. But if this CSS is to prepare as the separate file, then perhaps before it pass it, you need to come back to the web server and retrieve the CSS file, okay, and then format again, then only it will map to the DOM, document object model, and then only show to the screen. So basically, this is the whole flow that you need to understand. Okay. So HTML, if you look at the text, it's a stand for hypertext. Hypertext, okay, which is referred to a link. Hypertext markup language. Okay. So what is the markup language here? Basically, it is a document that we apply using this language to format the documents that we want to be shown on the screen. Okay? So a way of making out text, right? We call markup. Making out the text. We have a text, we try to make up it. Okay? So to indicate that some text is different from other text. So perhaps this is for visibility, visualization better. Okay? So that's why when you see on the screen, there's an image, there's some text in different color, there's some hyperlink, there are so many possible multimedia elements on your HTML document. So how we do the formatting, basically we use the tag. Okay? So we tag portion of the text to communicate the meaning. Means that if I want to show a paragraph, so I use a paragraph tag. Okay? If I want to make the font, the text bold, I use strong. So the contents within this open and closed tag, it will become bold. In this case, strong text has been used. Or you want to italic it. Okay, you want to italic it. Okay, so you can apply this emphasize tag. So the return to you, we try to get these whole things. So we know that this one is a paragraph which consists of open and closed tag. Okay, we do have a bold, we do have a italic. So basically, this is a concept for HTML. You need to understand the story. Okay, please go and watch this YouTube. You guys like to watch movie, right? Sometimes. So this web, okay, was invented at the very earliest of 1990s. That's where the Java programming coming in as well. So Tim Berners-Lee, okay, and Robert are the two persons that invented these web things. Okay, so it became very popular, okay, in 1994 to 1997 actually. Okay, after there is a standard coming in. Okay, there is a standard organization to standardize the tag, which is what we call W3C Consortium. Okay, so at the beginning of this web technologies, perhaps the HTML is a kind of, they want to make this scripting as free as possible. They are not really emphasized on the syntax. So we do have HTML 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we are in the HTML 5. Okay, now we are in the HTML 5. Okay, so at the beginning of the what we call web pages, okay, I believe that you guys should know about this one. The purpose for the web pages is not for you to watch movie, it's not for you to browse some multimedia element. Basically, it is a document sharing platform. Okay? So you need to understand that those are old days why people invented the web pages or web technology in this case. Okay? So, and then, as I mentioned to you, web pages has been popular after 1994 to 1997. Okay? So, at the time, the internet, this is how it looks. I believe that you guys never experienced this type of interface before. And the time that I get in touch with internet, this is the layout. Okay, this was the layout. And then in 2007, they transformed into something more presentable. Okay, and you can see that it have been evolved from time to time until 2007. So now it's 2020. If you try to take a look how this Google looks, might be different from this one now. Okay. So for the old days, as I mentioned to you, in the earliest of 1990s, the syntax, the tag that we use to create the web pages is not as strict as now. You can use the uppercase to present the contents. It still can work. You can have a paragraph without a closing. It still works. You can have the uppercase. It's still working. Okay? Those are old days. Okay? It's very good, right? So, if you guys are in the old days, everyone will score these subjects because you don't need concern about pretty much on the syntax. But then, after some times, okay, this Tim Berners-Lee, okay, and they form this consortium, and basically is from this organization. This is a lab, and this lab is not a computer science lab, it is a physics lab. Okay, it's a physics lab. So, and this W3C, okay, this is W3C Consortium, is an organization that define a lot of new standards so that everyone will follow the standards. Okay? So, he also focus on the CSS, XML, and so on and so forth. So ensure that the web was based on open standard rather than proprietary vendor product. Okay? They want everyone follow the same things, not brand oriented. Okay, they want to be an open standard. So with the W3C consortiums, now everyone have to follow the rules. Okay, so your HTML must be in lowercase, the tag, and if you're using the image tag, when there is an attribute attached to the tag, you must use the open and close code. Okay, the tag must be closed, must be in pair, right? Okay, where is it? P? Okay, yeah. UL, LI. It must be closed. Okay, these are all the closed tags. So we take a look on the some of the very important stack, okay, that we will see every day. For any given HTML documents, we need to understand that any HTML document should have these components. The first one is the document types. Okay, so you can see the HTML version 1.0, 1.1, and so on. Okay, the document types. So then your browser will interpret, will parse it accordingly. So, and we do have the main HTML, closed HTML tag will present this is the HTML documents. Inside this part, we have two sections. One is the header sections, and the other one is a body section. So in header sections, you're going to put the title of your web page. You can put a CSS file, okay, and a lot more here. Of course, well, we're not going to cover everything inside the header, but it will show some of it. Okay. So, and your page contents, your information, your data, everything will be in the page contents. Let's start with the body and end with body. The head is end with open with head and end with head. Okay, you have to understand that if you put, okay, www.abc.com/ a folder and then slash another file name. Okay, file name here. Your server, okay, when you place your file in the web server, the file, the default file that we look at are the index.html, index.htm, or index.php for the dynamic applications. Okay, so when there's a folder, means in the folder they have a lot of files. The first file they look at is the index file. So it's a good practice that whenever you write your HTML documents, the first page you can call it as index. This is the first file that your web browser is going to be loaded to you. So, and while there is a convention, the default file is configurable. Okay, you can change it, of course, in your web server side. If you don't want to configure that, just pick up this one. And some might ask, index.htm with this extension and this extension, what is different? For information, HTML is a awesome Linux platform. Of course, now you as a Windows user, you also can use it. And this one for Windows. Right? This only works when using through a web server. Yes. Okay. So if you are using on your own laptop, on what they call this laptop, perhaps you don't have this www, you have a local host, then blah 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 blah. So for the lab assignment tomorrow, okay, you still don't need any web server yet until we get into the PHP. Okay, for the tomorrow labs, you guys are going to use the HTML, CSS to create a small project. Okay. So I advise that you guys, whenever you create a new project, okay, you put all your files, because a web page we know that consists of not only HTML file. It consists of other images file. Okay, this is image file, and perhaps more than one HTML file that can link from this one to here and this one to here. And everything's in a single folder. Okay? So that when you create a link later, you can use a relative link. Relative. Okay? Later I will introduce you what is the relative link, the other one is absolute link. Okay? Okay. In HTML, okay, you need to understand that what you code, what you wrote, what you write on the HTML file, it won't show exactly on your document as what you formatted. Okay? In other words, the white space and also what you call the white space will be ignored. Okay? And it will change according to the size of your window by default, unless you apply the CSS into your document, cascading style sheet. Okay? So if you see here, you write something like this, okay? Perhaps it won't show exactly after line. If you go to next line, bold, no. Okay? And according to the window size, we call line wrapping. Okay? If you try to drag this window into a smaller one, perhaps the div will move into next line, so on. Third, should have a beginning and end. Okay? So the P end with P, the strong end with strong, emphasize end with emphasize. This is the rules you must follow. So the basic tag format is that you must have a start tag and tag. And you also need to remember, whenever there's attributes on your tag, you must use quote. And for image tag, it is a cell closing tag. Okay? It's a cell closing tag. Remember, a lot of students, they forgot this slash here. Okay? I repeat here again. For the image tag, it's a cell closing tag where the slash after this attribute is compulsory. Don't forget this slash here. Okay? The slash, this yellow slash here. Okay? So for this category of tag, you no need to have the ending tag because it is a cell closing tag. Okay? You need to remember. And we do have a special terms called HTML entities. We will come back to these terms again, okay, later, okay, but not today. We are use HTML entities start with an ampersand to represent a specific characters. This is very important, especially when you get in touch with the some query in the search engine, okay, that can help you to prevent the HTML injections. I will talk about the security on the HTML injections, okay, few more chapter, I think, okay. So you want to use lesser than, so you can use these special characters to have this one, okay. Sometimes these are all the characters were very practical. If you want to present ampersand, this is a way, okay, to get this ampersand. And nowadays you might think that we can use emoji, like this emoji. You need to search from the HTML file as well. It allows you to have some emoji, okay. So, and we do have the arrow. This could be very practical. Instead of we search some icon to place in a web page, we can just use these special characters. All right, this one. Okay. HTML comments, you start with this one, less than, exclamation, dash dash, and end with dash dash, greater than. So just like other programming language, okay, HTML comment will be attached to a file, but it won't be shown to the browsers. Okay, so this is a format. Links and more links. HTML links, as I told you, hypertext. The keyword here, hyperlink, is stand for the HTML. Okay, what we want is the hypertext to create a link among those pages. So we have a.htm link to b.htm. Okay, so links are what we make the web. If your page is not linkable, then we don't have the search engine. We need to understand the web is a interconnected documents throughout the link. And that's what enables you to do some data analytics, a lot of searching through the search engine. Okay, if we don't have this link, then there is no World Wide Web. Okay, so mention here, with a link, that is where Google and search engine come into the scene. So we can have this type of absolute link, okay, where you try to put the whole URL through the anchor tag. This is an anchor tag to represent, you create a link. Okay, this is HTML tag, and we do have the href here. So stand for hypertext reference. Okay, hypertext reference here. Okay, this is the link that we want to go. So, and this is the text that's going to show on your page and is clickable in blue color for the first time before you click it. After you click it, it will turn to purple. okay, or other color as you want. You can configure it, no problem. So this is the we talk about the link, okay, and this link not necessarily must be text. It can be image as well, right? You can put a small image here, and when your mouse move over here, it's clickable, okay? It's clickable on it. So when you click from this one, the second page, you click here, if you come into this document, okay? So, and this document, you can create another link that link back to your first page, right? With this line of script. So in this case, this one is the relative link. Okay, because what? Because the page 1 and page 2 just now, you place together in the same folder. Okay, right? On the web server. So in relative link, you don't need to have www dot something like this one. Okay, so this is absolute link, and this is the relative one. Okay, relative reference. Okay. Oh, what is missing here? There's some text here. So the text here should be second page. Okay. So you can click on this second page if you come to the first page. Okay. Okay, this one I mentions what is absolute, what is relative here. Okay, very easy. So in the absolute, we use the full URL, okay, or anything on the internet. So for the absolute, okay, we use this one, and because we assume that they are placed in the same folder as the current documents. Okay, so now you view on the page, and suddenly there's a link here. You click on this one, okay, then this link is linked to another page, which is both of them actually in the same folder. Okay, so they can use this, what we call the relative image. Okay, the image, you can place it, the image tag. Okay, this is the image. As I mentioned, the image also can be a clickable hyperlink. So you have an anchor, and with anchor here. Okay, so you create the destination that you want to go. Okay, and when you, instead of a text here, you put an image. Right, this is a part. So means clickable, where is it clickable? Okay, this is one. Okay, this is one. Okay, you can put in the middle of your text. Okay, of course, this one must be as smaller as possible. Okay, otherwise it looks very weird. Okay, instead of text, you can put image. A list, okay, is a number notations here. Okay, of course, there's another one called order list, OL. end with /OL, and order list is a number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay. So, and of course, you can put a lot of link, okay, explore insights as you want. Okay, I think this one you can comprehend yourself straight, quite easy and straightforward. A table. A table is a very important component in those days. Those days, people use the table to do a layout. Okay, so they create a table, okay, something like this, right? And what are the things you want to place in, what are the things you want to place in. Okay, you can have a text, image, for layout purposes. But nowadays, table used for tabulate the data. Okay, tabulate data. So a table start with table and end with table. We know that we have 3 rows, 1, 2, and 3 rows, table row, which is what are the rows here? 1, 2, 3, right? There are 3 rows here. In the row, we do have the table header. Okay, we do have the table header. And table header, usually your font will be dark. Okay, you have a make, model, and mileage. So this is the first row. And then inside it, you have a table data, TD, 1, TD, and TD. You see how you arrange it doesn't matter. Okay? Doesn't matter. It still follow you. 1, 2, 3. Alright? Another one, you can have this one. Right? Another TD. Another TD. Have this one. But why this one is here, I don't understand. Okay? This one's supposed not here. Because from the text here, we don't have these things. Okay? You have 1 row, 2 row, and 3 row. Okay? Table row. If you want to place this Honda in, then perhaps you have another row coming in here. Okay? Okay. You can view source, sample source as you want. Okay? As I told you, when you enable in what you call in your this Putra Blast, I did share with you how to enable your developer tools mode. Okay? So whenever you will enable it, you can see come to this part, the elements. Then you can view the source. Okay? Inside the source, next to it, you do have the style sheet. This is the CSS. Okay? This is CSS that apply on your HTML documents. Okay? So I just want to highlight, because later I will mention again. If you look at this slide, we apply the style sheet on a certain element, on a body element in this case. So it means I want to apply in a block style margin 8 pixel on this body tag. Right? In the whole body tag, whole block. Okay? So you need to understand that web application, there are 2 roles here. One is the developer, the other one is a designer. Of course, in these courses, we want you guys to be a developers instead of a designer. Okay, and myself is also not from the designer side. I'm more from here as well. That's what we emphasize all this while. And what you need to know is on all the scripting, procedure language, and so on. Please leave the design part for the designer. Okay? The designer, a lot of great designer out there from Lincoln University, from the Art Academy, and so on. They are much better than us. Okay? But you can try, you must know the basic, how it works. Okay? So once you view it, you view the source, it's going to look like this. And you need to understand this is a document that returned from your server. Remember the architecture, the 3-layer. So this one basically is a document that returned from your web server and map it into your DOM so that you can see this part on your screen. Okay, with that I end out the first part. Okay, the next part I want to talk about the I need to I think I need to stop first. Okay, I stop the recording because I want to do a new recording. Okay. Any question, guys? Any question from you guys?
No, doctor, it's all clear.
Okay, good. Give me a minute, sir. I need to search for the file. Okay, right. This is the second part of today's sections. Okay, and we call it as the CSS. Okay, just a simple one. CSS. The keyword here is the style. Okay, you want to do some formatting, okay, on your HTML before it converted, transform it into your DOM, document object model, so that you can see, you can have better user experience when using the web pages, okay, when you're browsing web pages. So again, we come back to this diagram again. In fact, I already mentioned to you, okay, you are somewhere here. When you do some browsing, okay, through the HTTP, when you try to retrieve some file here, okay, HTML, when you want to display back, okay, and then it might require some CSS reference. And then if you come back, retrieve again, coming back. So the thing coming back here, your HTML document plus the CSS going to do a formatting before it passes it to the DOM. And then you can see on the screen. Okay? Then you have a what they call much presentable contents. We take a look at the implementation for the CSS. Before I proceed, I want you guys in the Putra Blast, I did share with you, okay, a tools. Okay? So these tools, please go and install on your browsers because you need it in your lab sections, in your lab exercise. Right? I will tell you how it works actually, why you need these tools. I stopped for a while. I want to share you how this tool works. Oh, no, never mind. I think it's in the slide as well. Is it here? Let me see. Oh, not here. Shit. No good. Okay. Not you can't see it here. Okay, let me show you a bit later. Okay. So this one I already told you just now in our HTML section, right? The look and feel are much better now, okay, from here to here, and all this part of it is because of CSS. Okay. So you need to understand that without the CSS, this is how it looks. After you apply your CSS, oh, see, it's much better. You see here, we do have this component here. Then if with CSS, it becomes like this here. Of course, you have three more things here. Right? So without CSS, this is how it looks. So ugly, right? This is so ugly. But it's okay because you are the developer. You just focus on the contents. Let the designer do it on this part. They know how to format it in a much presentable way. Okay? So I ask you to install these tools on your browser because in your lab questions, you need to show me, okay, the documents that without CSS and the documents without CSS by applying the tools over here. Okay, I can show you now. Okay, I stop sharing first. I share you a browser. Yeah. Let me see what's or not. Give me a moment. Okay, right. This is great. Okay, where is it? Now here. I share. Share. Okay, right. This one is what? Our web page, right? It's our faculty's web pages, right? Nice or not? Can you create something like this for me? Yes or no? Why so quiet? Quiet means what? Priscilla?
Yes, sir.
So you say yes, huh? So
No,
this
I'm
one
asking, what did you ask earlier? I
I
asked you
mean,
to repeat.
yeah,
I want
I mean, you can deliver a web page for me like this.
creating something like this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, no?
it's quite difficult.
What is difficult? When you employ yourself, when you are in the industry, your boss asks you to do this, you say, oh, it's quite difficult. Okay, in my browser, I reinstall the tools. So this is the page with a CSS. Okay, with a CSS. You know how does it look like if without CSS? I show you. Once you install the tools, you have all these things. Okay? You can disable some of the style here. Okay? Now I try to disable all. Okay? This is how it looks like. See? Nice or not? So much different, right? This is
Yeah.
so much different. Okay? But it's okay. I tell you what. Tomorrow, I want you to create something for me. Okay? Show me something like this. And also, the one with the CSS. See? Oh, so much different. Okay? So you need these tools. Right? And guys, you need to install Atom, yeah? The Notepad Plus equivalence editor. But please use Atom now. Everyone using Atom. Because later come to the PHP, we're also going to use that as well. Okay? And you no need to think about your web servers, those things first. Okay? Because in next week, I'm going to share with you two more tools. Okay? XAMPP, okay, that we use it, the whole package, we use it for dynamic web application developments, including your SQL servers and also your Apache server. Okay, the one next week I will share with you. For this week, as our second week, I just want you guys to warm up with the atoms and familiar with the CSS and also the HTML. Okay, guys?
Okay, doctor.
Right. Okay, we come back to this one again. So now you know what is the difference between the CSS and without the CSS. It's very important, guys. Right? It's very important. Some students, they don't appreciate it. Why is CSS important? They thought, oh, we are very good in HTML already. We know how to do it. Okay? Don't waste your time. Go and do the formatting. Okay? Focus your time on the contents that you want to show to your clients. Okay? Then we do the CSS formatting later. So what you see on this page basically is a combination between HTML and also CSS. Okay? All the syntax, all the scripting HTML put over here, and the CSS format leave it behind. So if we take a look on the role between the developers and the designer, what you need to do is for here, on this part, you learn about HTML, and this file basically is a CSS file. It shows what? Now I want to have a body, okay? Format my body according to this format, this style I want. So you're going to search, where is the body? Body tag. Okay, here. Okay? So from body tag, everything's here. Please follow this style I'm looking for. So, and we do have the H tag, H1. We know that the whole body, we're going to follow this one. But then there is something that you want to override it, or something that not covered in the body. So you want to say format your H1, this one, follow the same font family, but then please change me the color. Okay, in the blue. Can you change the font body into H1? Yes, why not? You can write over here. You can have other font family here. Otherwise, if you just follow this font family. Paragraph, whenever you see the paragraph here, please follow this format. Okay? Whenever you see a hyperlink, anchor tag, right? Not here. Right? You can see you're going to show by green color. Right? So this one is a formatting things. CSS syntax is very, very different from the HTML. Yeah, it's true. So in the CSS syntax, you need to remember there's a selector. This selector is related to your HTML tag. Means that which tag you want to apply to. Which tag? Okay, now body is the HTML tag you want to apply to. There are so many CSS properties. Please go to the cheat sheet. CSS cheat sheet. Okay, we can't memorize all of it. We need some reference. Okay, so we want to apply the font family under the body. Okay, and these are all the values. Why there are two font type here? It means if area is not available on your browser, please choose sans serif as a second choice to format the text in the body sections. Okay, please choose sans serif to format the text in the body if the area is not available. Okay, so this one I already mentioned. I don't want to mention already. Right, where you want to apply, okay, which aspect you want to change, and the value that you want to set on the properties. Yeah, this is a cheat sheet. You can search, please go to Google and search CSS cheat sheet. Okay, it gives you a lot of reference. A simple one, of course, we know how to do it. But if let's say you want to do some marginal adjustment, this or that, perhaps you need this one. This is very important for your lab one. Okay? I won't show you how it, but you require this one. Okay? How it works. It's very, very important for your lab one. Okay? Please go and search and get ready for that. And there are a lot more of the CSS properties. Okay? Everything you can find in this cheat sheet. Okay? Starting with the CSS, okay, if you want to do some styling, you can choose apply on the inline, embedded, or the external. Perhaps this one is the best one that we're going to use most of the time. Okay? So, but you need to understand what does mean inline, CSS, embedded. They always play in the head sections. The section that I mentioned before this, in your HTML, they do have the three part. One is the header, the other is body, right? So in the embedded style sheet, you place your CSS file in the header. But sometimes CSS is too long. Okay, the format for the CSS file is too long. That's why you place it as a separate file. Okay, you place it as a separate file. But sometimes you want to overwrite some existing CSS over here and over here, you can try to apply small portion, okay, as the inline CSS. So take a look on this one. We know that in our HTML under elements, you can apply the CSS into your HTML documents as the inline. Inline what? You do have a paragraph tag here. You see a paragraph tag here. So you apply the CSS style directly after your paragraph here. Means that only this line you change. You put these things. Okay, you want to have a border. You want to have a border style with a solid border color, red color, and border width, okay, 5 pixels. Okay, so you want to have these things, the border. You apply on the inline style, the first choice. Okay, right? So you also can apply it on the header sections. The second type, you can place it in the header. So in the header, you start with style, end with style. Okay, so whatever things, just place inside this part. Okay, so guys, I want to go to the CSS cheat sheet. Try to understand this one. What is margin? What is border? What is padding? Because in your lab one, you need to do this one. And guys, your lab one, you must submit within the 3 hours. Okay, within the 3 hours. All the lab. Okay, clear? The question will be released at 2. Depends on the questions. Sometimes the question is only 2 hours. Some question is only 1 hour, and so on. Okay, but I try to give you more times. Okay, maybe for the lab one, because I want to cover some of the section that I'm not going to cover today. Okay, so I might give you extra time to submit next week. Okay, but be prepared. Okay, because some of the lab you need to prepare, you need to complete in 3 hours time. Okay, and on the lab, the marks will be accumulated. Okay. So you also can have the third choice, which is more practical to you and me, where in the header sections, instead of I place this is very short. You need to think sometimes your CSS file going to be longer than your HTML file. When that is the case, you're going to do these things. Okay? You're going to include the CSS file in your header sections after title. Okay? So in your folder, you're going to have a rules.css. Okay? Right? And it is the style sheet. Okay? The document tag, text slash CSS. And this CSS file always placed together with your the HTML file that you want to apply on it. Okay, so you see this one in your header, you just have this thing. But where is this file? You can't see it. And in fact, a lot of web pages they use this one. You only can see this one, right? And then you need to go to the style, and then you can see where they apply it. Okay, clear? Okay, it is not going to reveal on your elements here. It will go through here. Okay, clear? Okay, so this is the file. Okay, let me see. Okay, this one I want to touch. I want to highlight this part. Wait, let me see. Okay, I want to complete this one. A spam and also div is very important. Guys, I want you to focus on this part very much. Okay? A paragraph, wait, where is it? A paragraph tag, it do have the embedded format. What is the embedded formatting inside this paragraph tag? If you notice that whenever you apply the paragraph, okay, a paragraph tag, okay, a paragraph, maybe, no, this is not a good example. Okay, fine. Whenever you apply on the paragraph tag, okay, you notice that, hey, why I put a paragraph tag there? After that, there is a line here. I don't want to have this line. Don't want to have this empty line here in between. Sometimes it's going to be very ugly. I want without this embedded format that attached to the paragraph tag. You need to understand that some of the HTML tag, they do have a formatting. That is how your browser passes it to the DOM. So if that's the case, we do introduce two tags which is don't have any formatting style. One is a spam, the other one is div. Okay? So what is the difference between spam and div? Spam, basically we use it in between the sentence. Okay? On the line. Okay? On the line. Okay? So, when you apply I give you some things, example, SPAN, hello, spam. When you apply the spam on this hello, you notice that before here, if there are some other style sheet, okay, some other style sheet, it's going to follow the style that we have here, but this hello spam we apply on a inline, means only single line. Div, on the other hand, is a block style. Block style, for example, is a block. And div, we can have a nested div. In the div, we have another div, a nested div. Okay, but both of them do not have the styling on it. Okay, clear? So of course this one you have a style bow on it, okay, but then this one there's a block, we apply on a block, this one apply on a block. Okay, that is the things you need to understand. That the spam is on inline, they apply on the block, but both of them is going to cancel whatever styling that you have before that. Okay, means that the specific sections, I don't want to apply any style sheet. So if you look at this one, when I apply the paragraph here, this whole paragraph, you notice that it's going to come over here and there is a white space. Paragraph. Right? I apply the div. Inside div, there's another div. Okay, you notice that, oh, there's don't have any white space here. Okay, so you can take a look line by line. Oh, this one. You need to understand this concept, yeah? Okay, this is a very important aspect. I believe that not every one of you, some of you know also very minor or minority in your groups that know about this one. We do have the ID and also a class. Okay, this is a class. Okay, I do have ID 3, third, that's a second, okay, ID second. This is a second. Second is very long here. Okay. Right. This program not complete yet. Okay, it's fine. So I do have a first. First was very long here. Okay. So this is one document, one single document here. In this single document, okay, you only can use first ID one time. Only one time, yeah? You will never see, you can't see the second ID equal to first from one single document. Of course, you can see the second ID which is second, another ID third, but you will never see in your documents there's another ID called first beside this one that you apply on this block of div. But the class you can use many times. More space, more space. Clear? Very important, yeah? So, this is your HTML documents. This is your CSS here. But it's on your header lah. Right, it's on the header. Okay? So, if you want to apply on a certain block, I advise you to apply the class or the ID. Alright? We do have ID first, second, and third. ID first, second, where's the third? Okay, here. Third, second. Oops, so sorry. The first here, the second is here. And then you do have a class, class, class. Okay? Represent ampersand for the ID and the dot as the class. Okay? This is very important. Okay? Alright. Any question, guys? Do you understand?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Good. So, I want you guys spend some time, okay, before next class, tomorrow's lab, to understand clearly, okay, this one and this one. Okay, you need to understand this one clearly. The key part I will explain to you. Why this one changed into yellow background, why this one only red color text, and why this one green color, and the font size, font is different, everything is between the style sheet that apply the class or the ID. Okay? Alright. Just look at this slide enough. Okay? Just look at this slide. Okay, this one I don't want to touch here. Okay, just a little bit more. But then this one I want to share it. This one, no need. That one I will share it tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Okay? So, so today I just want to stop over here, guys. Any question before we dismiss? I will see you again tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Remember, yeah, guys, get ready your laptop installed. Okay, get ready your Delta tools installed. Okay. What is no? No questions. Oh, okay, no. Okay. Now you saw the message. We have 24 students today. Okay. Please sign your attendance. Okay. Remind your friends, those who are below 80% of your attendance, okay, I'm going to be very sorry about that. Okay, you know the rules of UPM. Okay, any questions before we dismiss? Lunchtime? No? Okay?
No, doctor.
Okay, good. The video, I will upload it to the Petrobras. Okay, so I see you again tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Okay, guys? Bye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
doctor.
doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, doctor.